something needs to change in the fandom community overall because there's a huge problem. And that's what I'll say on that.
Oh.
Mom!
Are you a lady like me? Introspective, beautiful. Oh, are you intellectual like me? Beguiled by a bargain? You like wild times? Oh, like me? Are you serving the community like me? Well, if you are, then you must be very Delta. Today's guest is the winner of Dragula Titans Season 2. It's the one and only Evah Destruction.
Hello.
Hi, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so exciting to be in this pastel room with you.
I mean, and you are the perfect, like, cupcake, but all dark.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm that one burnt cupcake in the back that didn't make the batch.
Well, that's the one that has all the flavor.
Right.
The last time we were together, I think, was like last year in Albuquerque.
That's right.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? While I'm waiting, Delta, like, what about Very Delta? I would love to come on your podcast and yap with you.
And here we are.
Here we are. We
Here
made
we
it
are.
happen.
Well, I feel like the year, like, as I look at each year as sort of seasons. So in the sense that, like, right now it's obviously Valentine's season.
Yeah.
But then it's immediately going to be here in Southern California, like Ren Fair season.
Oh,
Right.
love it.
And then it's Pride. And as soon as Pride season, like, sort of winds down, it's the holidays.
Yeah.
Because Halloween is the beginning of the holiday season
Yeah.
to me.
No, it's true.
Right?
It's like the months of July, August, it's like the sweaty taint before the holidays, and you're just like trudging through,
Yep.
getting through it, school starting,
Yeah.
and you're having to deal with kids again. And yeah, it's all just a waiting period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does this time of the year mean for you when it's like, you know, we're right into the beginning of a year? Are you a resolutions person? Are you not a New Year's resolutions person?
Well, I think recently, very recently, it's a kind of become a very transformative time for me because before it was just like, nah, new year. But I think over the past few years, I've actually incorporated something new with myself where I try to throw myself into something new to bring in the year, something to try. Like
Okay.
last year, I put myself back in theater again since high school. So I was like, okay, go back to basics, go back to where it all started and see how you feel. And I fell in love with this local community out in Bastrop, Texas. And it is just incredible doing shows with them. And so then with that in mind, and then of course, winning Titan Season 2, I was like, I now have so much more in front of me, and this is more of an optimistic kind of beginning to my year. You know, I'm comprising all my ideas and like listing out like what am I doing in 5 years? Like what's going to be next year? What's tour going to look like with the Titan Season 2 tour, or you know, like just little things like that, and just trying to get everything in order. But it's been mostly very positive for me, and I'm really happy right now.
What does that tour look like for you?
So we have a nice collection of stops, and it's all via bus traveling across the country.
Wow.
We're starting in New York and ending in Denver, Colorado. We're doing like a big scoop U, and it's what I live for. I love being on the road, especially on a bus and not dealing with like planes and all that bullshit.
Right.
Because I did like a little Australian tour once, and I feel like I was on a plane more than I was in Australia. Truly. And I just, the airport is such a toxic environment. And I love bus touring, and we've got such a great group. We've got Abora, JK, and we also had Jaharia and some other stars that have been on this season, possibly as special guests. So it's going to be a good time. We've got a
I love
great
that.
cast.
What's something that people who have never been on tour on a bus have to know about a bus tour? Like how you adapt personally, or any unspoken or spoken rules?
First of all, take a sleep aid with you, like melatonin, whatever, because sleeping on a bus is hard unless you're used to that. But sometimes we're in like coffin room spaces, like bunk beds, like in the tour bus or whatever. And I know that at first, like the first couple nights, I was like getting like maybe 3-4 hours of sleep, but then by the middle end of it, I was like, this is the best little room, little bunk bed. I want a coffin at home to sleep in. This is so cozy. I love this. And there's also a certain way you have to sleep in your bunk beds too, because
Which is how?
it's you have to sleep opposite, so your feet have to be pointing towards the driver, because if there's a crash or if there's something that happens like a abrupt stop, your head won't collide with the wall,
Okay.
because there's no seatbelts keeping you in place. You're just going to go flying. So it's like if there's a sudden stop, then your feet will catch you first, or maybe you'll roll out of the bed. I don't know. But at least your neck and your head will be safe. And that's something that I learned is you have to sleep feet towards the driver. So that way there's no injellies.
And do you get on a cycle with everyone else as to when it's time to go to the bathroom and where you go to the
yeah,
bathroom?
there's no pooping on the bus.
Okay.
No poops.
I kind of thought so.
No poops. Pee, and then like I remember, like you're not supposed to like frequently flush the toilet either, because there's
Okay.
limited tanks of water on the bus. So it's very courteous to remember, like, just pee, leave the bathroom, wash your hands, do your business, but no poops, and just pee. And then I think it's usually by end of day we flush. I
Okay.
think, just so it's like a, conserve water thing. I wish there was a better system, because it's not a pleasant experience. Like, you only use the tour bus bathroom if you really have to.
Right.
That's what we know, because normally we'll do like our big one and then we'll wait until we get to the venue, or we hit a gas station or like a Bucky's, like,
Oh, well,
honey,
that's ideal.
oh, don't get me started on Bucky's. I love a Bucky's.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're Texan, so
yeah. I gotta, you get every flavor of beef jerky there. They have every type of candy you want, the delis, the desserts, and then the bathrooms are pristine. Like, working there must be like working at like Costco. Like, your
Yeah.
family, you're taken care of. It's a great work environment. I don't know. I can't speak on people who actually work at Costco. I don't know what it's like, but I never see unhappy people working at Bucky's.
Well, I always try to explain to people that have never been, because I mean, obviously I'm not from Texas, but I've been enough that every time I go, people that I'm with or are there are like, we're going to make sure you get there because we know how much you love it.
Yes.
And I try to explain to people the bathrooms have attendants that are like, it's time to go check this bathroom.
Right.
And they check the stalls and they're mopping. And like, if you were to experience wetness on the floor, it is from a cleaning product.
Right.
It is like the U.S. Navy.
I've never had an odor floating around in those bathrooms.
No.
It is always perfect. And I remember being so gagged because they have shelves with their own pickled products.
Yes!
I love, first of all, pickle fan, pickle stan, but I also now have broken into pickled asparagus, pickled green beans, pickled okra, and then sometimes a pickled egg. But I am obsessed, and I'm hunting for jars of pickled garlic.
Okay.
Pickled garlic, it is good for you, but it's also like you get that zing of the vinegar, and then you get that nice little spice to it with the garlic, but that crunch. Mama, my God, it is so, I have not been able to, I've only had one jar of Bucky's pickled garlic once, and I think they discontinued it. But if anybody out there has pickled garlic that they would love to share with me, I am yours.
Yeah.
Down. We're going to be stinking up the dressing room together just with our breath, but we'll know that we're getting the nutrients we need. Yeah.
I saw this person on TikTok that was selling, well, it's a brand, so several people have it. They call it gator toes, and it's fried garlic. So they're like little squares of fried garlic, and then they have like pickled or dill pickle flavor fried garlic, or
gator toes.
Gator toes. Does that sound good?
I feel like that's a projection.
It sounds good, though.
I'm just saying, that's like monkey bread. Like, almost. I'm like, why are we naming things that have nothing to do with the animal that they're related to. But it's good. I
wanna
love
eat
monkey
it. I
bread.
want to eat it.
And now I want to try gator toes.
And I think I have monkey toes. So I think it's fine. It all works out. It all works out.
You know what? Same.
Yeah.
Same. Actually, yeah, same, actually.
Let's take a break. We are back with Evah Destruction. This show is obviously an exacerbation of first world problems.
Sure.
We know how much other shit's going on in the world, but sometimes we need to take a little break from it.
Absolutely.
Are there any behaviors happening? They could be online, in person, maybe a missing menu item, something that is just on your nerves that could be considered a small fish, but needs to be fried by you.
You know, and I mentioned I mentioned this to you once, but it still rings true for me. Hotel soaps.
Uh-huh.
Hotel soaps. Now, I travel a lot and I've been through my fair share of hotels. There's that one little stick of bar cleansing bar soap that they stick in the bathroom and they
Yeah.
say, this is for your body and your hands. What is that doing?
Right.
What is that doing? Is it antibacterial? No. It leaves a film and makes you like dry, and it makes you you need to moisturize afterwards because it just sucks you of all your moisture. But it's a one little strip of bar. I love those hotels now that have those big pump bottles in the shower.
Oh, you like that?
Incredible. Game changer. I was like, oh my God, I don't have to ration this out for the night. I don't have to, squeeze every inch of its life into my hand and then it's gone. But like first world the little bar soap, I'm like, the dial soap is always on the bottom shelf at the grocery store.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, why not just like get squares of dial? Because then I know I'm getting something antibacterial because I'm
Right.
very stingy about the soaps that I use.
Right.
Because now I've like the Bath and Body Works soaps, those will just make you smell good and feel good, whatever. But at the end of the day, they're not getting the germs off. Like you need something antibacterial. And for me, I love traveling with my dial soap now.
Mhm.
Not the orange kind, not the yellow one, but the white one. That's not it's just I love knowing that it's getting me clean because I'm washing the airport shit off of me, the after gig stuff, I feel clean. And those little cleanser bars just really rub me the wrong way. I hate them
Well, and sometimes there's like no lather happening.
at all.
And I'm like, what is like nothing is happening.
No, it's like a little dot of like conditioner almost. It's like
Uh-huh.
an oil almost. And it's like there's no foam going on. And I'm like, well, half the bar's gone. It's broken now. And it just went down the shower drain. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Do you ever think those pump things with the soap, with the body wash, the shampoo, and the conditioner, someone has come in those?
You know what? Now I kind of hope so.
I know. Well, it would be certainly moisturizing. I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In a way.
Little placenta treatment on the
Uh-huh.
face, something.
You would be tight.
Yeah.
Ooh, I
Sucked
like it.
in.
I
Ooh,
like it.
Yeah.
I love it. You were saying that you were like falling back into theater,
Yeah.
like reinventing that, reinvigorating that.
Yeah.
What's your dream musical role?
I just actually got to do it this last
You
year.
did?
Yes, right before I went into season 2 of Titans, I got to play Penelope Pennywise in the production of Urinetown, the musical.
Wow.
I did that production back when I was 13 years old. It was a junior cast, and I got an ensemble role because they need more tenor male voices at the time, just more boys who could sing higher. And I just fixated on that musical since because it's very political. It's
Mhm.
very political. It is a very relevant musical, especially to the times we're living in right now. But it's so camp and it has its dramatic moments, but it is a musical that does not take itself seriously, and you need the right people to play these roles 110% the way it's written while adding that layer of camp and the nuance. So it's just like I got cast as Penelope, one of the lead female roles, and I was just like, this is not what I signed up for initially, but if you think this is what you want to take on, I will do everything I can with this role because it was my dream to do it again. And when I saw that they were doing it, I dropped everything to do it.
Wow.
I was like, I've been waiting 19 years to do this show again. I'm
Mhm.
dropping everything. And it felt like a breakthrough almost, to put in a really cheesy theater kid way. But like
No,
it,
that
it
makes
just really put me.
sense.
And so after that show, I was like, this is where I belong, without trying to get emotional right now. But it like
It's
really,
cathartic.
really healed a piece of me that has been longing to get that kind of attention again.
Mhm.
Because it was a part of me for so long and then it had to stop. But then I was kind of supplementing it with drag. And that's been great. I built something amazing for myself. But there is also an inauthenticity with drag where
Mhm.
we are lip syncing. We're not using our natural voices a lot of the time. And we're only performing for 3-4 minutes at a time instead of, 2-hour long productions. And there's a part of me that was just like, if I could just live with both, if I could just have both, that'd be great. So it feels good being back in this place and being more active and exercising those muscles again and being back
Yeah.
in that headspace. I'm not the most profound actor by any means. I'm still getting my sea legs again. I'm putting myself out there, but it's like, I'm just glad I'm doing it. And I
Yeah, of
said I would
course. I
do
mean,
it.
that is profound, is knowing that you want to put yourself somewhere, knowing you want to put yourself out there,
Right.
and it is very cathartic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And even getting the chance to do the musical during the season of Titans too. That to
sure.
me, I flipped out. I was like, are you fucking serious right now, guys? Holy shit. And then Swanthula and one of our story producers helped choreograph and block it. And it was such a moment being on set, doing what I love with the thing that I love. And it was like a crescendo when I won that challenge.
Yeah.
So it just, big old theater kid, guys. Who's surprised?
Well, what about this? What
Mhm.
about if you could deconstruct one thing? What would you deconstruct? And this could be politically, this could be a garment of clothing, it could be a menu.
What needs to be deconstructed is this sort of this ever ringing, ever projecting energy of misogyny out
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
And that is the hot button word floating around me, especially after this past season. But I know in my heart of hearts that I have carried a microphone in my hand and provided spaces and screamed loudly uh on massive stages to like say, stop controlling women's bodies, stop not featuring women in your shows, start like diversifying your spaces, your shows. And there's this constant projection where men just seem to always have a problem with the women in their spaces, whether it's them trying to move up in like the queer scene in the bars, or having their own shows, or gigging more at those shows, or hosting events, things like that. It's just something where I'm like, why do we have such a problem with women at the
Mhm.
end of the day? And I think that it's important to unpack that. And I really hate the whole idea of platinum gay, gold gay, like,
Mhm.
oh, I never touched a vagina in my life, so I'm good. I'm a gold star gay. I think that's so disgusting. Plus, pussy is amazing, by the way. Y'all are missing out, truly.
Wake that up.
Again, that's why I love shows like Dragula, especially too, because we can have it all. Like there's no prejudice or question of who should be on the show or anything like that. Like season 3, I competed with Landon, and Landon lives as a woman, and Landon presents as a man in drag, but still, I have no issue with them. I'm not threatened by them. They are here to compete. I will treat them like fellow competitors. Same thing with Sigourney. I have no issue with Sigourney, and we were very friendly. We got along just fine. But when the competition comes into play, it's like, oh, well, I want to see you sweat, or, I want to see you struggle just like the rest of us, or whatever. That's more how far I go with that. But at the end of the day, I think they're just as beautiful and stunning as I'm not intimidated or threatened. And
Mhm.
it's more of just like, I see you. We're here to play the game. We're here to do the thing. Let's fucking do it. But also, here's a curveball. Because
Right.
it. I'm here to play the game.
Deconstruct that.
Period. You know?
Are you threatened by Sigourney Weaver?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She could take a shotgun to my face anytime. Seriously, like I adore that woman. And even the Beaver too.
Yeah.
Like she's stunning, gorgeous, talented, um, absolute cutthroat competitor.
Mhm.
Like we had an intense season with Titans 2. And I
Yeah.
know that people are left with this impression of me where I came at her from the very beginning. But that was me rolling the dice and seeing where they would land. And I was like, you know what? Let's do the more interesting thing. You know, I decided to step into a place where I was just like, do something uncharacteristic for once. Don't just be the kind, uh, you know, wallflower in the background making faces and being funny sometimes or whatever. I don't fucking know what people say, but it's just like I just wanted to go about it differently because I was like, this is my last time. Fuck it, why not? Let's ball. Fuck it,
Yeah.
we ball, you know? And with Sigourney, we had a lovely time, especially behind the scenes and stuff. But when it came to the competition side of it, that's when I clocked in and I was like, let's shake shit up. Let's do something, you know, that I normally wouldn't do.
Right.
And that was me stepping into that sort of confidence and me sticking to my guns and not second guessing myself.
Yeah.
To circle back though, my brain, with this season and the experience that we had, I am definitely in the market for a time where me and Sigourney could be friends, but that is on that's for her to decide. I want there to be consent with that. I say the ball's in your court, but only when you're ready. Because I even texted her a few months ago and I was like, hey, I'm just checking in. How are you doing? And things like that. Just wanted to see how you're doing. Because filming had wrapped and stuff, and I just texted her and just seeing how she's doing. But she texted back. She was like, hey, thanks for checking in, but I don't think I'm ready for this yet. And I said,
Mhm.
heard and understood. And
Yeah.
she hearted it. And I said, okay, that's it. And she congratulated me too when I won. And I was like, thank you so much, you know? And I think that's, if there's anything that I regret, there is a piece of me coming out of this season that regrets having to sacrifice a piece of our friendship for the decision that I made.
Mhm.
Because that group, when it came to episode 7 and I won, and I said, okay, I have a decision. Holy shit, this is no one's ever had this power before. I have to use this wisely because this could decide everything for me. And I said, okay, a lot of them are really close to me, and I'm not going to be the reason why Abora doesn't make a finale for once, you know, because she's been with the show for like 8 years. And then, you know, JK, I clocked from the very beginning. I said, they deserve to be in the finale. Their art is incredible. They have this amazing transformation story from season 5 to now. And Jaharia, like, we had kind of an alliance going. I had no reason. And then with Sigourney, it became a storyline thing where I was like, it's a kind of a common denominator thing right now with you because I said there could be more in store for you later, but you said, oh, well, it's a big deck of get out of jail free cards, you know? And I was like, well, it's time to clock back into that. And you're eliminated. I'm sorry. And I remember walking away shaken a little bit after that
Mhm.
decision, but I was like, no, stay strong and know that this is what was set up to be. But there is a part of me that does regret a piece of that friendship getting zapped away too with that.
Oh, there's never going to be, I mean, in any decision like that in a reality show, there's so many factors. One of those factors being, did you come here to win or just to showcase what it is that you do? Would you like to win a prize that could change your life? Or would you like to have somebody go, thank you for letting me win while you lost?
Yeah.
And then also, just as you said, no answer was going to be the right answer. No answer was there going to be a time where you
No.
did
Yeah.
not risk
Yeah.
everything. That's what makes it so difficult. That's what makes that's when you realize that, like, you know, the weight of any decision is going to be judged by the people who watch the show,
Mm-hmm.
the people who support you or have supported you all along to go, well, now I've changed my mind because of this, this, and this. I thought you were this person. I thought you were that. It's
Right.
like, I am that person. So you want me to sacrifice everything that I said I came here for. I signed a contract to come here to try to win this money. I came here to change my life.
Exactly.
I came here to not just be rewarded and, of course, hopefully supported by all my fellow artists,
Yeah.
but to change my life.
Exactly. And for me, I was like, this is my last go. Third time's the charm. This is my third and final act. And I was like, I have to make sure this package is perfect. I have to make sure that I'm going in fucking focused. So I left everything emotional that did not matter at the door. And I said, you are here to win. No more sugarcoating everything. No more kikiing, having too much of a good time, because that's more of a distraction. No more getting tied up in drama that doesn't matter. And there was other friendships too that I had to kind of put to the side and sacrifice a little bit in that process, because I said, you're hurting right now and I've given you plenty of hugs, babe, but enough is enough. I need to do me for a second. Mama's got to work, because I cannot distract myself with all this drama, because it's so easy, especially on reality TV. And that is a death trap, especially on Dragula, because they want to see you. They want to see you powerful, confident, and sure of yourself, while also having a voice. And that was my biggest challenge, was using my voice and having my own sense of power that I didn't believe in for the longest time, because I've always been like, well, I'm just little old me. I do my shows and people enjoy it, and that's great. And I'm very hardworking, but then there lacks that presence that I now understood and saw what they wanted from me. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. What happened. We can deal with this afterwards. Sorry, babe.
Yeah.
And again, there is a part of me that is still very much human. And I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry, but also I'm not. But let's have conversations. And if you're ready for them, great. If not, that's also okay.
Well, I think a lot of people like to say in many of these situations, it's not about you. You have to think about everyone else. And I say, my fucking life is about me.
Hello.
My life is about me. And if we're going to go, this is not to knock any regular season of a show, but if you've done a regular season of a show, and then you are in the next level where it's all the cream is now here.
Right.
And you have to do this. People watch the show Traitors. They watch the Big Brother. They watch Survivor, all these shows, and they're like, play the game. If you don't play the game, I don't like you. I don't want to see no weak ass. I don't want to see any of this. The second you play the game, it's, why did you play the game? I thought you were authentic. I thought you were real. I thought you would risk everything for the people you love. Why would I risk it to make you happy? And then I get somewhere where somebody goes, guess what? Now that you gave me a chance, I'm flipping the script on you, because now I'm going to play the game. And then they play the game on you. And then there's a bunch of people that go, ooh, Eva, you were so weak. Eva, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
You should have played the game.
Yeah.
Yet in an alternate universe or the real universe, you did play the game. And then it's a problem because you played the game. But all along, people are like, I can't wait to watch the game. What do people want?
Exactly. And that's been
and that's a rhetorical question, because I know what you want. I'm not fucking asking you what you want. And Eva knows what you fucking want.
Period. That's been the thing, because I knew as soon as October hit and that season was starting to come out, I was like, this is going to be a rough ride.
Yes.
It's going to be a rough ride. But I believed in my heart of hearts. I was like, that's a good thing that you're kind of scared, because that means you did something interesting, something just not like yourself, and you put in the hard work. You showcased a lot of great drag, but then it's like, this season is the best season of Dragula, in my opinion, and the Boulet's opinion, per their podcast and, everything they talk about. But we, I think, took it back to a place where everyone's been asking for more drama. Everyone's been asking for more oomph and chutzpah to like the drag and the art being showcased. Um, because people these days, it's messier out there. People love mess. People love tea and the interpersonal dramas and stuff. And there are some people that just want to see the art. That's valid as hell. But sometimes, like, it's still the Boulez' show that they want to make and watch. So they want to see drama.
The reality is that they did get the art.
Yeah.
And they did get the drama.
Yeah.
And they did get the game. And they did find people that they fell in love with and got mad at and discovered that they loved all over again and were introduced to new people. They got all of this. And there was no point where anyone was saying, my goal here is to hurt people. My goal here is to make sure that people suffer.
Yeah.
Everybody that was there wanted the prize money because they wanted their life to change with their art.
Yeah.
They wanted to say, my art is going to be recognized by the people I respect on the judging panel and all the people here with me. And hopefully I can lift them all with me. Hopefully we can go together and travel the world on a bus or on airplanes or go anywhere or do shows and showcase. And it's really true. And maybe together deconstruct these ideas of what is art, what is, you mentioned earlier about, lip syncing and wanting to introduce for yourself more of a philosophical and literal voice to the art that you do. We live in such an interesting time because we're able to do these things on so many different levels. Just as you said, I'm going to go back into rediscovering what the theater means to me.
Right.
I tell people all the time, I believe, really good at drag and really awful at Drag Race. I'm not good at Drag Race. I saw myself in that competition and went, you get too involved and overthink too many petty little shits to get where you need to get in this.
Right.
Maybe I'm a different realized person now. Maybe I don't know. But who would have ever thought when I was coming up, I used to love to watch talk shows. I used to love Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
I used to love watching Ricky Lake, all those shows.
Yeah.
I had no idea that what I could do could evolve into a place where I could sit down and talk to the contemporaries of my time, the queer artists of my time, and we could document it and put it somewhere and do something. And somebody could say, the drag that you're really good at, put that in a lane, do that, stay out of the lane where you're not really good, forge ahead, do something. You are doing this. And listen, I mean, to not sound crass or gender anybody, it takes a lot of fucking balls to put on a dress, to come do something, and to stand up in front of other people and say, I know you hate me because honestly, you might be looking for a reason to hate me.
True.
You are mad because we are living in a place where the pendulum is stuck and you may not get your leaders to listen to you, but you can try to get under the skin of other people and go, you answer for it. They won't answer for it. They won't answer for it. The polls won't answer for it. I want you to answer for it.
Right.
And we can only do everybody wants a piece of you politically, socially. They want a piece of you for every little bit of it. And you are responsible for it. You are the reason that all these, the whole queer environment, or I should say the gay, quote unquote, environment is so misogynistic. So because we see an example of something that happened here, they go, that was about misogyny. It wasn't about competition? I thought it was about competition.
Literally.
Why is it now suddenly all the work that you've done, all the things that you've done, all the representation is null and void?
Yeah. I was like, what spaces have you provided for women out there?
Right.
What shows have
a comment section.
Exactly.
A comment
it's
section.
Like, what have you done in your community to uplift female and queer voices and everything under that umbrella? It's like, it really does get frustrating because this season brought a new level of fandom with us because I feel like we got a lot of Drag Race viewers into the Dragula circle with this season because it was big, it was exciting, it was more dramatic. We started hot with the first episode, and then up until episode 4, it was the most intense shit you've seen in a long time. So it's like, I feel like it just bred this notion, this environment and everything, this conversation just about things that you normally see in another circle. And they're coming over to us, picking us apart like the way that they do on the on Drag Race, and it's just like, guys, we it it is a much different playing field over here. It is similar in a lot of ways. There have been shows that have paved the way for this show to exist, sure. But at the end of the day, we are our own brand, and we have our own voices to say the things that we want to say, do the things that we want to do. And it just evolved into this beast where I did not know a moment of peace from day one when Meet Our Monsters came out. It was, well, why is she here? And then, oh, she's a misogynist. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, she's fake. She's a theater kid. She's spooky Jan. She's unoriginal. It's like, I just, I am here because I love to compete. That is at my core. I did pageants before I was on Dragula. I have 3 titles to my names, and it's like, I love competing. I love challenging myself. That is my agenda. That is my essence. I love to prove to myself that I can do what people say that I can't. Because that goes back to my childhood even, and it is just my way of evolving myself and getting better and more refined, because I was raised in a cutthroat city, and that is Atlanta, motherfucking Georgia. And the Black pageant scene is what raised me, because Atlanta is very not, I don't entirely know by choice, but it is segregated in ways, with the way that you have the mainstream white scene or the Black scene with where they, congregate and they do their shows and the balls and the pageants and stuff. But that is what I knew growing up, right? But I wasn't scared of that. I was, because like some of the white queens in the scene were like, "Oh, I wouldn't go over there. Like they'll read me over there." And I'm like, "Bitch, we're all dressing up. I want to do competitions over there. Let me go over there, sure." And that's where I got my drag mother, Shavonna B. Brooks, and that's where I learned, about Tasia the Doll Thomas and Raquel Lord, Shauna, like those Stasha Sanchez, like those legends from Atlanta who are all beautiful women too. But it's like, that is where I come from, and that's
Right.
where that competitive nature comes in. And it's like when people see people one way on one season and then they come back on Titans a second time, whatever, and they're like, "Oh, well, she's different now. Oh, she's fake. She's mean. She's rude. She's misogynist." I'm like, y'all are just boring at this point. I am bored. I am just, y'all are so unoriginal. Like, come up with something new. Like, because I've heard it all at this point. Like, attack my body hair, attack my drag, but it's not attacking me to my core, honestly. It's nothing original. So again, it's like, we navigated this whole season with just this wave of bullshit. But then ultimately, I think this was a very successful season,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm focused on. And that's why this year remains positive. I didn't leave this season bruised or, scarred or anything like that. I think that overall, it just made me more aware of even where we are with pop culture and how the audiences out there are adapting and responding to different shows, different, movies, TV, like whatever. It's all changed. It's evolved, and it's much more intense because it's very chronically online.
Right.
And I will say, to this new fandom that exists, whether it's Drag Race, whether it's King of Drag, whether it's Dragula, whether it's Camp Kiki, whatever, you have been just as misogynistic, racist, and just prejudiced, just like what you say we are. So something needs to change in the fandom community overall, because there's a huge fucking problem. And that's what I'll say on that. Whether you want to point your fingers back at me, say what you will, but there is a huge fucking problem out there, and it's disgusting.
Let's take a break. We are back with Evah Destruction. Now, this is the part of the show that we call Read Me Delta. People will send in their letters. They have questions. They have sometimes observations.
Gorgeous.
And if you want to send a letter in, you can send it to readmedelta@gmail.com. They will filter through. We will find out more about. Sometimes people just they want advice.
Yeah.
They find themselves in situations about romance.
Yeah. Same.
Lost receipts.
Yeah. Same.
Home goods items.
Yeah.
Dear Delta and Dragula Superstar. Let's play a game, a pretend game.
Okay.
A curse has been placed on you where you have the ability to transform into any bug. What bug are you turning into and why? Forever yours, Bugaboo from Brooklyn.
Bugaboo from
That's a cute
Brooklyn.
question. That's cute.
I love that.
Any bug.
You know what? I would be a praying mantis.
Absolutely beautiful. I think they are so stunning.
Yes, especially the orchid mantises that are just extra for no fucking
For
reason.
no good reason.
But praying mantises are vicious predators when it comes to the animal kingdom in the bug world. And also the lady praying mantises, like they fucking they mate and then they eat the head of the male.
Yeah.
And I'm like, love that. Tastes good in my mouth.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, a little crunch.
I would have to, and this is going to be just so
Plus
probably, I think I would be a ladybug.
Sure.
I love a ladybug.
Wait,
When I
the
was a
orange
kid-
ones or the red ones?
Well, when I was a kid, I remember I would be so excited when I would find a green one.
Oh.
They would be like a lime, dusty
Confused.
green color. And my favorite thing was a ladybug. And I always felt like there was something calming about them. I loved when they would land and they would crawl around, which is so interesting because I don't think there's anything. I mean, I think there's many bugs that are probably not really that harmful, but when you see them, they have the connotation of that's going to be horrible, like a pill bug, right? That's like roly-poly bugs or whatever. People are like, oh, it's gray, it's ugly. But then when you look at like a ladybug, you think, oh, it's so sweet and it has a sweet name. But they're all bugs.
Yeah.
And many of them do, great. An earthworm, which is not really a bug, but has a negative reputation.
It's got a bad rep, yeah.
But it does such good things.
It does. A great source of protein, but also like the things that they do. But going back even to roly-polies, it's like those are of the isopod family.
Yes.
They are prehistoric, mama.
Yes.
You're looking at walking, living fossils.
Right.
And going back to ladybugs too, that's why I asked if you were red or orange, because the orange ones, they're Japanese beetles, basically, and they bite.
Oh,
they bite.
I
If you
didn't
see
know
an
that.
orange one on you, it could bite you.
Oh, so flick that.
And
thing away.
that's why I said it's like, do you have a bite or are you a gentle little flower?
So you have to.
Right.
So it goes
Yeah.
away.
And it's funny because over time, like, when you're kids, like sometimes you'll squish a bug, And I remember we had quite an infestation of the orange ladybugs. And I remember accidentally stepping on a couple because they were just coming through the windows, like just building their hive like in the house, because I think there was like some migration of them, and they were just coming in. It was that time of year. When squished, they smelled like peanut butter.
Oh.
And like even
What
like
did they taste like?
I don't know. Those are the bugs I have not eaten yet. Cockroaches, yes. A little nutty, a little it's like eating a ballpark peanut with a shell on. But not bad. Cockroaches aren't that bad. That was actually like a little behind the scenes when Hollow and I did the roach tube on season 3.
Right.
Hollow ate the roach when it went to their mouth. And I said, you know what? I want one too. Bring one over. And I ate one with them as for like ceremonial purposes. I was like, this feels like a moment. I want to do this with you to experience it. And wasn't that fucking bad. Wasn't that bad. But like even like little sugar ants, like when they're squished, like they smell like ink.
Yes, they do.
Like they all have their little distinct smells and stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't always condone, like when I see a spider in the house, I look at what type it is first. If it's a big one, then I'm like, okay, markings. Is it a wolf spider? Like, can it cause some damage? Or the little ones, like, is it a brown recluse? Is it a black widow? What's going on? But normally I'm very quick to scoop it up, put it outside instead of
Yeah.
killing it, because I have seen the beauty of spiders, and I love spiders, like,
And they're so
down.
frightened of
I'm like,
us. They're
exactly.
so frightened.
They are just looking to build their webs, take them down, and move on.
And bother nobody.
And literally, I remember crying like a baby when I watched Charlotte's Web when I was a kid, because I loved Charlotte and how pretty they animated her and her voice. And it's like, I don't know, spiders, they like, especially the little baby jumping spiders you see on TikTok. I'm like, I want a farm of all of those. I want to own every single one, like Pokemon. I want to collect them all and look at their beady little, adorable little eyes looking at me because they know I will feed them and take care of them.
So
Give them a little sugar
sweet.
water.
So sweet.
I love spiders.
All right, this is a long-winded one.
Ooh,
So
love it. Big lungs.
let's see how we can do this. Hi, Delta and gracious guest. Longtime listener, first-time writer here. I'm writing in for the Read Me Delta segment to pop off about a bizarre and truly disgusting phenomenon I encounter constantly in my line of work. I'm a flight attendant, and my number one travel ick has become men in airport bathrooms having full-blown conversation or even conference calls from the toilet stall. I'm boggled. My mind cannot compute. Who thinks this is okay? And more importantly, what is happening on the other end of the line? Do their colleagues or clients just hear the symphony of flushes, ripping toilet paper, echoing sinks, and gate announcements for Flight 237 to Cleveland and think, oh, Jim's dialing in from his home office again? I need to know the corporate culture that allows this. As a silent or not so silent protester, I've taken matters into my own hands. If I'm in the stall next to someone who's conducting business, I make sure to offer them some sound effects, a loud, deliberate rip, a strategic, relieved moan. Consider it my contribution to the audio backdrop. But seriously, is this just a men's room thing? Do women do this too? I need the intel. Speaking of my day job in the friendly skies, I love your air travel stories and rants. They're so real. And since you're a frequent flyer, here's a cute piece of advice from the other side of the cart. If you ever want flight attendants to give you extra love, bring a couple of gallon-sized Ziplocs filled with good treats. Think nice chocolates, individual snacks, Starbucks gift cards. Hand it to us at the door with a smile. We will remember you and you will be taken care of. It's the universal code. Anyway, love listening to you and trying to keep it very Delta at 35,000 feet. Thanks for letting me vent. Sincerely, a flying air mattress.
Oh my
I
God.
love this letter. I love
Yeah.
this letter.
What?
I don't think I've ever experienced too many phone calls in the bathroom, but I have noticed people at like the gate of an airport
Yeah.
just talking at full. Well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Or on the plane as you're boarding, well, when I get there, but no
Yeah.
one cares.
No, at all.
And I think people do it because they want other people to think you're making money
You got
moves.
business.
Yeah, you're making money moves.
Yeah.
You're
yeah,
doing the most.
You're somebody.
You can't wait for all this bullshit.
Yeah, they're just swinging their psychological penis everywhere and peeing everywhere.
I don't like that.
I don't either. Put your psychological penis away.
Take out
But-
your physical one.
Yeah. Uncut or cut. But I have witnessed a phone call or two in the airport bathrooms. I'm actually surprised farts were not mentioned once in that letter
Mhm.
because the symphony of unabashed farts, I'm very poop shy. I'm
Okay.
very fart shy.
Uh-huh.
And I am astounded by the level of which some of these men will go into these bathrooms and just let him rip. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. The altitude, we get gassy, we get bloated from the airport, snacks and the foods that they sell, whatever. But I'm just like, these are ringers. These are ringers. Like, it is echoing on the
Mhm.
walls how confident this fart was.
Right.
And that's where I am the writer of this letter, where I'm like, where do we get the idea that that is the move?
Mm.
You know?
Like in the plane, in the bathroom.
Either or, but mostly like the main airport bathroom.
Uh-huh.
In the big chamber of all the stalls and the urinals and the trough of the sink. Because sometimes even like if I need to let out a fart in a bathroom or something and I know people are around me, it's like I'll kind of like let it out a little bit, but then
Oh, you do a sound. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
just like a little distraction,
Sure.
a little musical number
Sure.
to distract them.
Well, I wonder if these people think it's kind of like on the bus. There's no farting or shitting on the plane. Do it when they get off the plane?
Yeah.
I
Or
guess.
it depends, because sometimes like you need to let it out, like because sometimes, because I've had a gas bubble like really bad sometimes on a plane.
How is a gas bubble?
It's like the feeling of being bloated after you eat a lot, but push it further towards your bladder, and
How
it just
is
feels
eating a lot. What is that?
It depends. It depends. It all depends
Well, I wear
on how much you can
Depends.
take.
I wear Depends.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, so I'm not worried about it. I'll just go wherever I need to go, and I don't even have to go to the bathroom.
I love this safe space.
Just have it right here. It's fine.
But because on an airplane, you are subjecting everybody on this metal tube in the sky to all of your functions, your food, your conversations, your over drinking, whatever. And sometimes it's like it is silent, but it is also very deadly.
Deadly.
And you have affected the entire plane to your shit particles.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Floating in this tube.
Because they are actually particles.
Right.
They are actually
Right.
particles.
That's the one science I did pick up on during lockdown
Right.
and COVID. It's like particles, they travel, diva.
Well, the thing to do is to feel comfortable when you know you're flying and there is either an infant or maybe toddler near you, because you can always just rip ass and blame it on them. Because everyone's going to go, oh, that baby probably needs to be changed. It's that baby. And then you're fine. You don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. You can muffle it if you need to.
Oh, children on a flight. That's a whole nother topic. But back to the conversation at hand, though. the conversating in the bathroom, though, it's like I think it is, of circumstance, of the situation. Sure, take your business call in the bathroom.
Right.
I feel like it's like loudly at the gate. You're showing off. It's a flex.
Right.
If you can't show your penis at the urinals, you're showing it on your phone behind the bathroom stall door.
We want to see more physical penises in the bathroom
Yeah.
and less philosophical ones.
Right.
Thank you for being here.
Of
This is so fun.
course. Yes.
You are so fun. You're always
I
fun.
adore you.
I
And
love
also,
you.
you look so stunning.
Thanks.
Especially with the set. You dress
you.
to impress every single time on this show.
Thank you. We'll wait till I stand up and then we'll see if you still feel the same.
Whoa! No, but this has been such a long time coming that I've wanted to be on this show, and thank you. You've been such a dream to talk to,
I
and
love it.
I love a
I love
girl
you.
who yaps and also will listen to me.
Well, I'm hoping, who knows, fingers crossed that we're meeting up in Austin.
Oh,
that's
yes.
our shh. Just stay tuned. We'll see. Yeah. I love it. We'll see you
Love
next
it.
week. And until then, keep things very Delta.
Bye, uglies.
Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, aka Mom. Hosted by Delta Work. Produced and edited by Doug Robertson. Technical direction by Antonio Picone. With original theme music by Will Pitts. Media and design support by Stone Cold. And set design by Eris Sevilla. Executive produced by Alaska, Willem, Big Dipper, Camille Stennis, and Joe Cilio. Recorded at Forever Dog Productions.
Mom!
Watch Very Delta uncensored, ad-free, and a day early by subscribing to Mom Plus Gold. Sign up today at mompodcast.plus for premium content, including weekly episodes of More Very Delta.